What's good? Game day, Lucky Lefty podcast. I'm your boy Shaun Davis. The Onora boys in the building. Brought to you by Onora Whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com, the premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. And if you're going to drink, by all means, make sure that you do so.
Responsibly.
You got to do it responsibly. Left, you in Lakewood. You guys coming off a win last night. You got to be feeling good this Saturday morning as Notre Dame waits to take the field against
That's
Navy
right.
for the 96 rendition over in Ireland at the Beaver Stadium. Right now, 20 and a half point favorites. Currently,
Mm,
they sit at 20 and a half point favorites. We didn't give you a chance to really dig into the defensive matchup against Navy, so we'll do that. But before we do anything, audio edibles each and every day at CFB Nation. Don't forget, YouTube, smash that like button for us. And then if you go to CFB Nation, leave us great comments. We appreciate it all. Apple Podcast, Spotify, Lucky Lefty Podcast. We spin it different. We start with your three keys to victory today, Left. What are your three keys to victory?
Three keys to victory is execution. You want to see Sam Hartman be able to go in there, dialed in, make it look easy, make it look simple, and have the first half with 28 points. I think that's the first key to victory is starting fast, and that's by scoring points early. And I think we have the ability to do that from all the things that we've been talking about leading up to this point. So 28 points in the first half, led by Sam Hartman, I think is a big key. Second key to victory is definitely the attention to detail from the D line and being gap disciplined. Are we going to allow these running backs, especially the fullback, to gut us for 5, 6 yards at a time because we're not playing our right responsibilities? So it's going to be gap responsible football, and the D line is going to be responsible for making that happen because that's consistently what they're going to give us. And if we don't bend on that, we'll have a good chance of getting them off the field early and we can score more points. So gap responsible football for the D line is the second thing. And then the third thing is to be able to finish. I think last year we made the game way too close second half. We kind of fell asleep a little bit and let them crawl back. These games like this, you got to put them away early in the third and put your backups in. So being able to finish the game and know that okay, we're at a comfortable enough lead to start putting in different guys. The goal is to try to see Angeli in the game. I think that would be uh, my third key is play so Angeli can get in. So that means we got to take care of business in the third quarter. Give Angeli about a four, want to give him about the fourth quarter to go in there and try to show that we got something as a backup. But from all cylinders, we should be able to take care of this game just fine, score the points we need, and look like the team we want to be with the new upgrades and Marcus Freeman going to his second year.
Malik's three keys, brought to you by Nora Whiskey. We look into this game, Left, and you talk about the defense being able to get three and outs and get off the field. Let me ask you a simple question because, maybe I'm tripping. What's the identity of Notre Dame's defense?
Hopefully, it's physicality. I think that's what Marcus Freeman wanted in his, detailed vision of it. But a game like this will require you to be physical. But man, the identity is still up for grabs. I mean, are we going to be a blitzing, moving the line kind of team? Are we hunkering down and playing more man this year because we got some better secondary? I think Al Golden is going to keep it as NFL like as he can, being multiple. And I do think by doing what we've done last year, hopefully we can identify some guys that we can start making calls around. Maybe there's a combination at linebacker we really like that we start calling more blitzes around, or maybe we want to put John Baptiste on the single side and try to get a double team on the three tech so we can get him some one-on-ones. We definitely got to identify the strength of individual players in the front seven, and when you do that, you're able to make more calls based on who your better players are on defense to try to stop the offense. But it's just an ambiguous team right now. We don't know who the stars are going to be defensively necessarily. We don't know necessarily who the stars on offense are going to be, especially in the passing game. We hope that Audric and Sam obviously are the face of the team and they continue to do that, but that's not going to be enough to get all the way there this year. And it's going to require us to discover some stars on both sides of the football.
Can I play a clip for you, Left?
Yeah.
Yeah, Al Golden. What's the identity of your defense? Take a listen.
To answer that, I really will. I think there's certain things that the head coach, there's standards here that the head coach has set. There's principles that we believe in on defense. The identity, there's an old Coach Parcells saying, right? What you say you are is your philosophy. So I could sit up here and say we're this, that, and the other thing, but what you put on tape is your identity. And it's up to the players, and we're here as coaches to help them make that identity. Whatever their identity is that this team has, and every year it's different. A team is reborn every year. This defensive identity will be forged here in the next 3 weeks, and I'll let them answer that on the field.
I mean, he's answering all the right things. He's saying all the right things. I mean, this is one of the more interesting Notre Dame teams we've had, just from the standpoint of it being so hype and having high expectations coming off of year one, and then just not having the bona fide stars in your head on who's going to make this thing go. And Marcus Freeman being who he is, obviously he can't make touchdowns and make tackles. So who's going to be the Marcus Freeman of the team that we're looking towards? Because that's going to be important, especially identifying in games like this. Like, everybody can play in this game. Definitely would love to see it, Angeli. Hell, maybe even a Kenny Minchie. That's how well we should be playing. But at the end of the day, somebody got to score them points and be the one consistent. I don't want to have this season where, Tobias scores 2 touchdowns one game and then JT scores 2, and then we don't hear from both of them for a couple weeks because we're too diverse. I think it is a good opportunity for this team to find that dude on both sides of the ball, and then let it.
Shouldn't Al Golden? It's the end of camp, though. By the end of camp, you should know.
Maybe some of that is coachmanship or gamesmanship. You don't want to always, reveal everything you got going on. Hopefully that's a strategy. But I mean, Al Golden, this isn't his first rodeo, and he's been in a place where they've had pretty good linebacker play that, went all the way up to the Super Bowl. So I just think that, the responsibility he has this year is obviously underrated, because so much focus has been on Jared Parker to revive or freshen up what we have on offense. I know there's been a focus, but defensively, there's things that we could get a lot better on. And I think year 2 for everybody, it has to be a step forward. We can't take steps backwards.
Speaking of year 2, JD Bertrand had an interesting comment about what year 2 means for him under Al Golden.
Is that he's able to put more load on us as linebackers because he knows that we'll be a calming voice for the defense. So when a motion comes in or a check needs to be made, we can make that check really fast and calm everyone else, calm the guys who have their hand in the ground and can't see everything. And so I think being in that second year of defense, he's really able to really put that load on us.
I don't know if I want more put on them.
Yeah, I don't know. I think less is more. But then again, maybe there's something that that JD can operate better from having more. Maybe it's the more freedom to, I don't know, pick and choose when he wants to blitz or something. Who knows? But it you want it to be flushed out by this point, at least well enough to be like, okay, I know what I'm getting into, and we may have a couple wrinkles here and there, but from a based understanding, I would like JD to be locked in on the basic stuff. Him, Maris, the whole senior group, Jack Kaiser. Make sure these guys good with the basics and the nuanced stuff. That's where I want the Jalen Sneeds and the Zigglers and Osberries and Bowens to play a factor in, because those are the wrinkles where they don't have too many bad habits. So you could throw them something new and they make a play or come in on third down and be an impact. But from our base level and our guys that are, been there, done that in year two, they need to know the base stuff. They need to know the base stuff well.
Line up, diagnose the play, and make the tackle.
That's it. And run. Rally to
It really, for me, it really is that simple, Left. Like,
yeah.
I hear the nuance, knowing more. The problem was when the ball was snapped, can you execute defensively, especially against the run? We talked about the depth, how it will make them stronger against the run in the third and the fourth quarter, hopefully. One of the things that popped up to us was Marcus Freeman saying we asked JD to be more of a leader. He's been there 5 years. That he should naturally be a leader.
Yeah,
at this point. Now you have to admit, Navy got the fullback run going early against Notre Dame last year. Early in the first half. Notre Dame really never shut it down, but J.D. Bertrand missed that game because he was injured.
Yeah.
So that was a big cog to miss against a rush offense like Navy. And it showed. So I saw somebody in the chat say that JD would be an X factor. JD is beyond being an X factor.
Yeah,
he just needs to be a factor every week.
Yeah.
David Snead should be an X factor. Yeah.
Not an X factor, a factor. He need to be playing some part. Not the X. We ain't asking. That's too much. X factor. You the game maker. You make the big plays in the game. We're not asking JD for that, but you need to be a factor. You need to have some value when you out there, and you don't have to make all the big plays, but you need to be around the football, because essentially we can't win without you, and we don't want to win without you. But you got to play your part and not be a weakness in year two when we're expecting you to take on that helm. You a captain now. There's just certain things you got to uphold yourself to. And I think Marcus Freeman is going to do a good job of challenging the linebacker unit all year, because it's a reflection of him too. So this is now, because this is football, thank goodness, we're done saying all the right things. We won that battle. We got that championship. Now we got to put results on the field, because it's not much talking that's going to save this linebacker unit when we're taking these down steps. You know what I mean? Nobody's going to be like, well, Mark Freeman, what's going? No. The linebacker unit is supposed to be the unit of the defense. And if that's true, JD got to be a factor. Maybe not the X factor. Hopefully Jalen Snead or one of these young guys can prove themselves to be more of an X factor type player. But there's no excuses, for a couple position groups: the quarterback room, the linebacker group, and maybe the secondary. Because secondary is probably the most proven group of all of them. Those three groups, there's no excuses. So we really need that energy to come from that linebacker unit. And Marcus Freeman, I don't think is going to let that fall to the wayside.
You mentioned something that I think this is the first year in a while where we really don't know who the star is going to be on this team. Like
Yeah, for real.
we suspect that Benjamin Morrison is going to follow up his freshman year. He'll be a stud, a defensive back. The defensive front seven, we don't know. You have your star tackles on the O line. Aldrich estimate how many rushes does he get? Jabron Payne, Devin Ford, Jeremiah Love. We suspect that Tobias Merriweather is going to be a dude. Is Jaden Thomas going to be the guy? Man, this is one of the most interesting seasons probably in Notre Dame history. Probably one of the most intriguing opening days that the fan base has had.
And it's not about who we're playing.
No, has nothing to do with the opponent at all. Nothing. It
It
has
just
nothing
happened
to
to
do
be
with the
the team we're
opponent.
playing. Yeah. This is strictly about seeing what we got
Right.
and winning with style and feeling good about this win. This is not a game to be winning by small margins. I think that's a loss in today's column and in the psyche of the team. That's a loss. If we win by 10, it's a loss psychologically. Psychologically, you can't start the season like that if you're winning by 10 points and then you go into the next game against TSU. Now I'm really expecting something. Can we score 40 against TSU if we beat Navy by 10? So I don't want to go into week 2 with questions. I want to go to week 2 with confidence, knowing that first week we took care of business on a showcase level. This wasn't no game. This is a showcase.
Yeah.
We won the game on paper. We won the game in ticket sales. We won the game in Ireland already. It's a wrap. This should be the showcase, like the carnival. You get to see the elephants. You get to see the circus guy. You get your money's worth. The entertainment value has got to be there today. This is about entertainment today. This is not competition because we should know we should win this one. It ain't about this is ours. We already know we won. We just about showcasing. And things need to be highlighted today. It's just not acceptable for our receiver unit not to have a couple touchdowns. Because if you can't score a couple touchdowns against this team, what do you expect to happen? We're not a team to turn it on. We're not a turn it on team. I don't want to be that this year. Where we just, asleep, and then we just decide we want to play. That's not going to get us nowhere. That's why Paul Feinbaum still finding ways to hate on us. He just don't believe we got it. So this is the game to show we got that thing now. And we're going to do it every week.
Lefty Podcast. All right, let's get into our season breakdown a little bit. Who do you expect to be the offensive MVP?
It should be Sam Hartman. But I would love to see a young receiver have an impact like a Jackson Smith and Jigba did it with Ohio State when he had Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson still on the team. I think that's a sign of a healthy pass game and a healthy future with recruiting. So if Sam can, in his 1-year rental, find a way to highlight some younger receivers, I think that will help in the future, but also, prove that the passing game is in a fine place. So Sam for sure, because it's a 1-year rental and we're putting a lot into this, and then a young receiver. Now, I expect Sam to distribute the ball pretty fairly, but it's important that it's a young guy just because we only got him for a year. So he needs to get that young guy started for, Manchi and Carr when he comes in and Angeli. So they need to know who the guy is when it comes to who's getting the ball when it matters. And obviously, it's easy to say our running back room. I think they're going to be a giant percent of the success this year, but it's not going to be the giant success to overcome the big games. So, as much as I would make it easy and say Aldrich for sure, I would want it to be Sam.
I'm going to go ahead and lean towards Aldrich estimate.
Mm.
I'm going to lean towards Aldrich estimate because I think there will be so much attention given to Sam Hartman in the passing game, and Aldrich's going to be the constant. Aldrich and that offensive line are going to be the constant.
Oh, the
So I
constant
lean
for
towards
sure.
Aldrich.
Common
Yeah, yeah.
denominator, he's going to be the everybody knows Aldrich's going to get it. I think more so than Sam throwing it. Everybody knows, okay, one thing we got to do is limit number 7 on a week-to-week basis. That's a box that every defense is going to have to check this year, which is a good balance to what we're trying to show the world. If we're trying to show the world we can pass, that can only happen if you can run the ball, and we know we can do that. So the anticipation of us being able to pass a football is built on the fact that we know we can turn around and hand it off to 4 different jerseys and get some positive results.
Let me ask you a question because that made me think of this. Will Sam Hartman have a bigger effect on the Notre Dame running game, or will the Notre Dame running game have a bigger effect on Sam Hartman?
The Notre Dame running game having an effect on Sam Hartman because I know we're going to force teams to defend us running the football, which helps Sam because I don't think Sam is a guy that you're rolling out there throwing the ball with 40 times. I think that's a perception that people have of Sam and people have of what we want to do with Sam. But I'm not giving Sam a 40 count pitch count. Why?
Mm-hmm.
We're not trying to subtract from the run game. We're trying to add to the run game. The reason why we got rid of Tyler is because we know that we can run, but the pass has to evolve to stack on top of it, which means our run is going to open up our pass. And teams are going to give us the pass early on, in my opinion. I think most teams are going to be like, oh, well, Sam's not that big of a factor, more so than Aldrich and their running game and that offensive line. That's a bigger preparation throughout the week because at the end of the day, we don't even have enough film to watch on these receivers to think they're a threat.
Right.
Right. We're going to have to watch Sam Hartman at Wake Forest to get a real evaluation on what potential passing that we're going to see in Ireland. But we don't even know what passing we're going to see in Ireland. So if I'm the Navy coach, I'm not preparing much for the pass. I'm like, okay, they got a couple players that they can flash. They want a lot from, but I'm not threatened by anything until they prove it. And Sam's the great equalizer for that. But at the same time, I think Jared Parker would be a fool not to run the football. Because at the end of the day, you know what you're going to get if you turn around and hand the ball off. You're going to get a chance. Where we get this, the league of separation is through the pass game, which we hope to showcase today. But you can't do that. And I think it would be wrong for us to come out just swinging with the passes and then not get the points we want out of it. Because if we're going out there swinging with the passes, we need to get the points out of it. Yes.
It's amazing because I can see Notre Dame and Jared Parker using the pass to set up the run this year, especially depending upon certain opponents. I don't know if it's that Navy matchup. You watched the game last year. I'll give Tommy Reese a lot of credit for this. Navy likes to stick their linebackers in the gaps prior to the snap. They give you different looks. They always want to give you pressure looks and then decide late whether or not they bring that pressure or drop back. Tommy has some beautiful automatics. The one automatic to Aldrich estimator led to a touchdown the first half. The deep pass to Braden Lindsey where he made a fantastic play. And then they had quick game. to the outside based upon certain looks that kind of hurt Navy in the first half of that game. Then, for some reason, in the second half, things got out of whack. It'd be interesting to see what Navy wants to do because their defensive coordinator is now the head coach. I expect their defense to be very similar. They were very stout against the run last year. I expect them to be stout against the run this year, but it is week one. Two new starters at the guard positions for Notre Dame. So how are they going to pick up the different stunts, the different looks? It's going to be a nice chess game early on between coordinators. So this might be a game where you might use the quick passing game automatics to set up the run game and to establish that physical dominance going into the second half.
Yeah, physical dominance. You want to. I think what last year we started fast throwing, fell asleep in the second half, and had to throw again. I think the approach, especially for games like USC, I don't think we should start by running the football. It should look very Oklahoma State-ish from a game plan that we played in Fiesta Bowl. It should look like that against USC, as opposed to our game plan where we ran first to open up the run against Ohio State, which I think it doesn't help if you're not starting fast passing the football. If you're not coming out throwing, I just think it's harder to jumpstart that second half, because for a team that can run the football great, it's nothing. If we rolling in the first half, it's hard not to keep rolling in the second half, right? So force the passing game early. Force the passing game early by being built off of runs, right? And then once you get that gap, I do think it's important that you think about rotation.
Mm.
And especially at the running back position. We got guys, I forgot about the Penn State guy. Where does he
Devin
come into
Ford.
that fold?
Right.
Yeah, where does Devin Ford come into the fold? With a Jadarian, with a Jabron, with a Audrey. I mean, that's 60 carries you can give right there.
Yo, to be honest, the game-winning touchdown last year was set up by Brian Mason and special teams at the end of the second quarter, blocking that punt
That's true.
and getting an extra 7 for the squad. So special teams, what are they going to be able to do today?
Yeah, you need something. You need some type of action from a special teams unit. Pump block, a good return, kick return, fumble on the kickoff, stuff like that. Marty Biaggi has an opportunity to show, okay, this is my little flavor I'm kicking off on the season. And I think that when you're in a game like this, it's about what can you showcase and execute on a high level. This is not, oh my gosh, we're worried about scheming against Navy. Navy's going to do any and everything they can to slow down what they really don't know about us. Hell, we don't even know about ourselves on a bigger scale, but it's the game to do it.
Lucky Lefty Podcast. Don't forget audio edibles each and every day. CFB Nation, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. It's the Lucky Lefty Podcast. We spin it different. All right, Left. Your defensive MVP this year.
I want to be a D lineman, so John Baptiste or Jason Audier. I think it should be a D lineman. And, Jason Audier has been doing a lot of things to prove worthy that he's ready for this big stage. And then John Baptiste, who we get from Ohio State, I'm expecting a lot of high production from that as well. Vitello, I think, is just a year away unless he's just making a huge splash. But, I'm thinking a bigger splash is going to come from Audier with a nice complementary backup support from Vitello and Riley Mills. But John Baptiste or Jason Onye are my defensive MVPs this year, hopefully. And that's because there's a lot of unknown about the D line. But I think we all can agree the D line as a unit is underratedly probably one of the better units we have on the team from top to bottom. It's not like it's top heavy. I think pretty uniformly, the D line got a lot of potential where it's like we can get a couple flashes of stardom just because everybody's pretty damn good. It's not like we have uh, like a in betweener or guys that are developing. I mean, a guy like Tyson Ford should kind of be ready to pop on the scene, and he's not a starter. You know, Jason Onye should be ready to pop on the scene. He's been laying low. John Baptiste, you're expected to pop on the scene because I know when you thought Notre Dame, it's like, oh, I can get some sacks. They had a sack leader here. You know, I have the freedom to, get up the field. We got some good schemes. So John Baptiste should be licking his chops. Hell, Jordan
Yeah.
Vitello, you supposed to be the replacement. You supposed to be licking
Yeah.
your chops.
Yeah.
Riley Fields, you've been consistent pretty much. Maybe not as much as like you had a JD impact on the team. You're a factor. Maybe not the best X factor, but you a factor. So you got all of this really good potential where I would love for our D lineman, a Baptiste or Onye, to be the rock. And then everything around it from there. And I think we can do that. If we do that, I think we'll be in a great position to set up all the things we want. When we had Isaiah Fauske being the sack leader, the defense played well around it.
Yeah.
So D-line is very important. I mean, look at Georgia. The production from their D-line just makes it a lot easier for the back end to make plays and get them drafted. Because, hell, Keely Ringo got drafted, and he was pretty suspect at Georgia. But that D-line make you look real good.
I think Benjamin Morrison is already a star.
Yeah. He's his own, he's in his own. He's just prepping himself to get ready to go to the league, like that Kyle Hamilton, Julian Love type of thing where he's kind of a standalone. Okay, we know what we got over there. We're thankful for his time until he graduates, that whole thing.
You know who I'm going to throw in there as a surprise defensive MVP? The transfers at safety.
Well, they got to be healthy.
If the trade. Yeah. Facts.
Because he still ain't seen it for real, huh?
But if the transfers at safety elevate that safety position, now we're cooking with grease. Because I expect the front seven or the defensive line to be really good this year.
Right. Yeah, really good.
Linebacker, we'll see. Those safeties.
Linebacker, we'll see.
If those safeties can upgrade that safety position, you're talking about
these stars back there.
But if they're good, now you go too deep, right? Because you got Xavier Watts, you got Ramon. You add those two. Heck, we're not even talking about DJ Brown.
Nope. But DJ Brown, he's like a JD. He's just not. He's not gonna give you the.
I'm shocked DJ Brown wasn't one of the captains.
He's the team guy that everybody loves, but the coaches don't see it, kind of thing. Everybody love and respect DJ Brown off in the locker room.
I mean, because his play is just solid.
It's just solid. That's it. That's it.
It's not just spectacular. It's just solid.
And that's a lot of our team right now that we think JD is just solid. He's not what we want from a Jay Nosberry or Jalen Sneed.
Yeah.
But damn, like as a captain, you're very solid. Guys can rally around that. It's not going to be everybody's looking towards you to make that game winning play.
Yeah.
But You can have a hand in the game-winning play by getting guys lined up, taking on a block so the guy can make a tackle, being in the right place at the right time, causing some disruption.
Yeah.
That's JD's way of getting in there. That's our safety's way of getting in there. I think Xavier Watts, you brought up a great point. Xavier Watts, who's had a tremendous second half of the year, he's only going to get better, and he's a bigger player. So when you mix a solid player like DJ with a guy like Xavier Watts who can pop on the scene and be a big time player as safety position,
Yeah.
that's a good 1-2 combo that can work well throughout the season. But like you said, it's hard. It's not hard to see him not be a captain, but you know that he's right there. Like if you had to just, okay, who else could be if we didn't pick these guys? DJ would be in that running, you know.
Yeah. You talk about setting things up offensively. Listen to what Marcus Freeman said about wanting to run, but possibly not always being able to do so.
Really good defense, right? And I'm a coach that always comes up here and says, we got to be able to run the ball because that opens up things in the passing. At times you can't run the ball, right, versus them because they have more people than you can block. And so we have to be able to utilize different formations and utilize our pass game at times to open up the run, hopefully. And so very challenging defense. And you guys might not see it, but we almost look at their defense like we look at their offense. It's something you won't see every week. You don't see this type of defense often in college football. And so it presents a big challenge that we've been preparing for months. What Sam does, I think, presents a level of maturity that he'll know the game plan. He'll know the things he's looking for. But the moment won't be too big for him. You know, he's played in a lot of big games. And so I believe that he'll put our offense in the right position to be successful.
No, he hasn't played in a lot of big games. No, he hasn't. He hasn't played in any game. We have 3 of the top 10 games this season scheduled.
He hasn't played in games like that.
Anything close to that. Where the whole nation's watching you, he has played nothing like that. So I think that's a little bit of a misnomer. But hell, not many people in college football at the quarterback position has played big games like the 3 we have this year. So we're asking a lot of this man. At the same time, we believe you can do it because if any time to do it, this the year. We believe you're a better quarterback than what Ohio State has in a quarterback room. To me, that gives us a chance. It gives us a great chance. And it's at home, and you're the veteran in this situation. We should win that one. I know you've never played no game like that, but we're helping you out. You got a good old line. You're at home. We're slighted to win. You're a better quarterback than the other guys they have over there. You got good supporting cast. So we should win the Ohio State game. Even though you haven't played in that pressure situation, we should win that. Even your games against Clemson aren't as big because they're not as weighted. Nobody thinks you're going to win going in. This will be the first time in your career where you're going into the game expected to beat Clemson. For the past 5 years, you went to that game expecting to lose every time by +10, even in your best year. So no, the Clemson weight of that game isn't the same. And we just whooped them last year. So you know they're coming out at home on a different energy. Hell, last time we played there was a crazy game. You know, so Sam has never played in that Clemson environment when Notre Dame comes to town. And in the USC game, it is what it is. We just saying, hey, you're the best we can find out there. And he's the best in the college right now. But damn it, we've made the necessary steps to be ready for this game the following year. We saw where we lacked 2 turnovers in crucial times that made a difference. Even with all the highlights and running around he did, we were 2 interceptions. No, 1 fumble, 1 interception from the quarterback position that, in my opinion, we've upgraded that. Without those 2 little mistakes, we in that game. So we really shaving hairs right here. It's really about shaving hairs. And I think with all those things that we've talked about, Sam's in one of the better positions you can be in as a quarterback, because not only do you have the maturity and the game experience, but you have the team around you to get it done. It's one thing to be that dude and you got to carry everybody with you like LeBron in 20, every year in Cleveland in the beginning. But now you like D Wade on the Miami Heat when they had the big three. You're D Wade. You don't got to be the best player because LeBron's the best player. And you got the supporting cast, but you gotta put your D Wade chips in too. Sam Hartman, you got to put your value in too, 12,000-yard passer. But if you can do that, which is within your realm, now it's different. Like Drake May, they're probably asking him to win every game. Caleb Williams, they're asking him to win every game. Sam, we asking you to play well. And if it comes down to a throw, we ask you to make it. That's different. We're not saying you got to have 500 yards every game, but listen, when we need you to play at the highest level, and it's only maybe it may be a drive, it may be a quarter, it may be even a couple plays that are must-haves. You are a must-have, a must-get situation. That if you can just do your job, I promise we'll everything that we've thought will come to truth.
Like I see Andrew in the chat mentioning cumulative snaps and experience and how that'll help Sam Hartman. They're using Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is asked to do the bare minimum with the 49ers. So
Yeah.
that's Sam Hartman is not being asked to do the bare minimum at
No,
Notre Dame.
no.
He's being asked to elevate the passing game. Brock Purdy is not
And
asked
that's
to do
not
that. No. Brock Purdy is asked to stay within the offense. He can only throw the ball between the hashes in the middle of the field. Sam Hartman is being asked to do a whole lot more than that.
You got to direct. You damn near got to inspire.
Put like this, it's a whole lot. It's a lot more pressure on Sam Hartman this year than it is on Brock Purdy.
Oh, yeah. Brock Purdy already got a team that's slated to go to the NFC Championship. Like, come on. And, it's a great position to be a Brock Purdy in general.
Yeah.
Because you get all the fame. But you don't have to do all the work. It's like the Stetson Bennett.
It's like, which Joe Kane is going to show up? You remember that movie, The Program?
Oh, yeah.
Right? And they had the big game coming up against Michigan.
Yeah.
And Joe Kane, the quarterback, was so cool, calm, and cool. It's just, man. And all of a sudden, the big game, he got tight.
And it's hard. It's crazy because you can't tell a quarterback that's like that until the moment. And, he may be good when the pressure's not on. But to find a quarterback that's good when the expectations are the highest, it's like even good quarterbacks aren't always good at that. And it's Sam, that's the question that I have for Sam is that, I know you can put up yards, you got the maturity, experience, yada, yada, yada. But the level of expectation that you've had has never been this high. And you can see it, and it is set for everybody. The guys that can do it are the guys that are remembered, the generational guys. The Trevor Lawrence came in for Kelly Bryant, didn't look back, won a championship. You got those expectations. You exceeded those expectations. Justin Fields, go to Georgia, doesn't work out. Go to Ohio State, turn it around. You expect to win a championship, win one. Get to New York, get the records. You met that expectation. Sam Hartman, 12,000 yards, opportunity to go to the playoff.
Because Notre Dame fans, see, this is the amazing thing. you know, Notre Dame fans have already anointed Sam Hartman as that dude, right? Notre Dame fans are. If Sam Hartman comes in and throws for 200 yards every game,
It's not good enough.
Notre Dame fans are going to be saying, hold up, wait a minute.
But it's a big drop off if he does, because if he's only throwing for 200 a game, we're not going to win very many games. Something's got to be the catalyst. We can't run our way to victory as much as it seems like we can in this
that
day.
Depends. Now that depends. It depends on the defense and everything else.
Right.
They can beat pretty much everybody in the ACC with Sam.
Yeah,
Hartman
I'm always
throwing
sticking to it. Yeah, I keep sticking to those 3 games, but you're right.
But if you're talking about the 3 games, the 3 big games,
right? But Tyler and Drew Pine could have won these ACC games and these first 3, you know. But it just shows you where expectations are for the Notre Dame program. Tyler Buckner didn't necessarily do anything wrong, or necessarily play bad, or necessarily wasn't the right fit. It's just Notre Dame is at a very, very delicate place where this is a program changing year. Because what's going to be the excuse if we don't get it done this year? Because every year before is, the quarterback, if we just had a quarterback, that's the answer. If we could throw the ball, if we could throw it deep. That's been the questions that's been hanging over the Notre Dame offense head since 2015-16. Now, you got that. And if you don't get it done, or if he's putting up the same numbers, what's going to be the question then? Because it's like, well, shit, you got the best quarterback in the transfer portal. He done thrown for 16 million yards. Comes to a team that's suited and booted better than the team he came from. And he's not giving you the production better. What's the issue? So this is
let me speak for myself, right? Because I see some people in the chat saying, well, you know, Sam doesn't have to be this, he doesn't have to be that. Let me tell you something, bro. Jack Cohn threw for darn near 33,000 yards.
That's right. That's right. Jack Cohn is Sam Hartman's. You got to be better than Jack Cohn.
You got to be better than Jack Cohn, man.
Jack Cohn was good.
Yeah, Sam Hartman coming here throwing. He can just manage the game. The hell he can.
Jack Cohn came in here and split time at 33,000 yards. Or not 33,000, 3,300 yards.
Then we ain't gonna get that dude to just be a game manager. No, you supposed to be a dude.
Jack Cohn technically was the game managing transition quarterback, and he had a lot of success. It won 11 games. Yeah, or 10 games. So
I don't want to hear that. Yeah, I don't want to hear
that. Game managers got to win 10 games, and we're asking you to do more than that. So damn, what's that leave you? Like, if game managers in transition years can get you 10 wins,
right,
and 500 yards in the bowl game, and 6 touchdowns.
Sam Hart, that's the floor. That's the floor for Sam Hart.
That's why we can't take a Keaton Slovis. That's why we can't take these under average quarterbacks, because the floor for a guy we expect to transition with and split time with damn near got numbers that are better than our winningest quarterback of all time.
Heck yeah.
So he can't do worse than Jack. And Jack did good with no expectation. We're supposed to be in transition year.
And Sam should have a better wide receiver core.
They should have a better wide receiver core. You got Kevin Austin he throwing to, Jack Cohn. And Braden Lindsey before the routes, before the YouTube.
Shout out to Kevin Austin for getting tick and run with the first and second string in Jacksonville now.
Jacksonville, yeah.
He
always was a freak of nature. You know, that freak of nature gets you a long way. Because at the end of the day, you 6'4" and you fast. 6'5" and you fast as hell. I mean, you're gonna find your way on the field. That's just the difference in the league and in college. In the league, they're gonna play the talent. The talent gonna find a way to play. The freaks always play in the NFL. May not be that long, but you're gonna find your way finding a job. If you 6'5" or 6'4" and run a 4.3 still, you're just gonna find a job. So shout out to Kevin
Facts.
Austin.
Facts. Lucky Lefty podcast. I'm just saying, man, you know, it is interesting. That as we move forward, one of the interesting aspects we'll see as we learned over the fall camp, and maybe you didn't hear this clip, but I want you to hear your guy Kaiser talking about year 2 and the difference between him being a freshman and the freshmen that have gotten in this year.
How's that relationship improved?
Yeah, I mean, just getting more comfortable in the defense, being comfortable around him as a person, right? Being comfortable around the guys and understanding and trusting that they know what to do. It's a big deal. So we're excited to be in year 2 and kind of improve what we had last year.
What have you noticed out of some of the younger guys so far?
I mean, first off, the younger guys have been getting a ton of reps. That's been something that has kind of changed and certainly that they're very fortunate for. And so just kind of see their confidence grow. You know, like the 3 freshman linebackers got here in January, they went through spring ball, and already you can see them playing faster right now in fall camp. And that's certainly like really exciting to see.
So it seems like things have changed in Notre Dame as far as getting the youngsters prepared to play left this spring and this fall.
But that was the plan anyway. I think for Marcus Freeman in year 2, he wants to really implement those younger guys, get them some reps, get them going early, and push the older guys, right? Yeah, Jack was like, they're very fortunate for getting reps when they get. No, they're not. They're more athletic than you. They're pushing you to be better. And coach recognizes that. He's like, look, we got to have better production out of the linebacker. So if these younger dudes are running faster, these younger dudes are making plays, this is not a seniority thing anymore. College football is about playing and who's ready to play right now. Penn State's figured it out in the running back unit. That's why they got running backs galore playing as true freshmen, because they know that window of opportunity small. So I definitely think Jack Kaiser is realizing that you got to step up the level of expectation this year, or you will have your time split by younger guys that are hungry and eager to get out there. Marcus Freeman is allowing it. It's open air competition. Come get the smoke wherever you want it. But I do think it's going to stem for better play out of that position, which is what we need, you know.
Who's your rookie of the year offensively? Which freshman do you think steps it up?
JD Bertrand or Jabron Payne? I mean, I'm sorry. Jadarian Price or Jabron Payne. I would love. I'm still considering Jadarian. This is his freshman year.
So they both, this is rookie year for both of them.
So him popping on the scene, I just think man, I've been expecting and wanting him to do well. I think, you know, teams don't know about him.
Yeah.
So I think he's just going to add another dynamic. When they used to seeing big old Aldrich fall forward for 5, now they got to catch it running 5 yards ahead, because I think Jadarian still got his speed and he's shifty enough. You know, he can get on the outside and outrun guys. So Darian is my underrated rookie of the year. I'm still calling him rookie. Now Jabron Payne, Ohio's own, I know he's going to find his role, because he's not a guy that's like, I might need to be a feature back. But when he gets in, he's going to make the use of those carries he's going to get, which is going to garner him to get the ball more in the season. And through that, I think he'll have his spots where we're like, damn, okay, we got him in there and he's out there 10-yard run. That's okay. Well, you're flashing. I think Jabron Payne's going to flash this year, but Jadarian Price should definitely be the rookie of the year offensively.
You know, Great House is, for me, is the easy choice.
You think they're going to play him enough? I don't know if they're gonna play any young receiver enough to be the rookie of the year.
Well, that has to be proven, right?
Right.
We hear that that's what they're
we
going to do,
hear a lot, yeah.
but we'll see. He's not a rookie, but I have a dark horse performer that I think is going to take a step forward, even though he's not a freshman. He's a sophomore, and he actually played last year. So it's easy to say Great House. It's easy to say Price. Heck, I can see Charles Jagasaw taking an interior spot midway through the season, right?
That's a good one. You think we'll be rotating offensive linemen if we?
I think so. I think the battle at the guard positions
are open for sure.
It was that close that I can see it being. I can see other guys, Billy Stroud, getting picked on a consistent basis.
Okay.
See that.
Yeah.
Charles Jagasaw working himself into that work rotation. Holden stays. I think becomes a red zone factor. And I think he gets about 30 to 35 receptions this year.
Ooh. So tight end, you still alive.
Yeah. I think Holden stays is going to surprise a lot of people.
If he stays healthy. No, who is that? Mitchell Evans.
Oh,
Mitchell Evans.
Yeah. Mitchell Evans is the one that. Yeah. But Holden stays.
I like that. Yeah. Holden stays. People, yeah, we haven't talked enough about tight ends this season, but
yeah,
red zone, I think that would be good because teams will fall asleep that we still tight end you now. They done read all the news lines about the receivers and running backs and offensive line, but that tight end position has been real solid.
Well, like you said, this is the first year where Notre Dame is really not locked in to the tight end from a passing game perspective.
We don't have to be either because he ain't our best player.
No. So we have to see how do teams react to that. Now, with the safeties not having so much focus on the tight end, do the tight ends do they get the opportunity to run free?
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's so exciting because you start talking about how it all develops and unfolds itself, and there's so many options.
Yeah.
It's so many options. We didn't take a dip in tight ends. We just had another one graduate. So, and that's not even the main course we're talking about. And our tight ends had the most receptions last year. It shows you how exciting the evolution of where we're trying to go, but also what we still have. We still have. We still got a running game. We still got tight end. We still got offensive line. But now we're so hyped on what we don't know yet, but we know it's there.
Yeah.
We know it's there. It's not like Sam is unproven, but he's proven because come on, you 5 years in, you are who you are. You unproven to a better team. How often does that happen? You go good to better. So, man, I hope Sam's ready for what he can potentially do this season.
Does Sam, as a receiver, now this is just me asking, because I figured if I was a receiver and I had a certain route on a certain play, and Drew Pine was my quarterback, I wouldn't even expect the ball.
No. Damn near won't even look back.
So the wide receiver core and the receivers have to run with a little more purpose this year, knowing that Sam is the quarterback.
I like you about to get the ball. I think this is the first year with chances.
It's almost like running the wing, knowing that Magic Johnson has the ball. You better keep your head up.
You better go.
You better go. Right. So I think it's the same thing with Sam Hartman at quarterback. That's why these receivers might run with a little more purpose this year.
Yeah, they might run with their head down, being like, okay, I feel like the ball may come my way. Yeah. And that's a huge difference than I feel like Braden Lindsey, who's like, man, I didn't know I can get open. Yeah, you weren't thinking about getting open before it because they wasn't
Yeah.
throwing you the rock.
Yeah. It is. That's why I said this is one of the most intriguing seasons that we get ready to go into for so many reasons, bro. So many reasons. Watching today's game, nothing's changed. I still need 7 on the first drive.
Yeah, we got to score further.
But there's so many things to watch, man. I think a win goes beyond, yeah, Notre Dame's going to win today. But there are so many other things that I think as a fan base we can
That's so
nitpick.
more important than a win, if that's even possible. It's even possible. There's more important things in the win today that we gotta see. That we
Yeah.
gotta see.
All right. What's your prediction for today's game? What's your score?
I'm giving a modest 38-7. 38-7. I think the Ireland jet lag may take off 7 points because guys got to get their feet under them. The grass may be a little thicker in Ireland because they don't play too much football over there. So I'm gonna give it 38-7, a nice solid victory. The defense is gonna show what they're supposed to do. Offense is gonna highlight what they need to highlight. It don't gotta be 50-0 yet. We can keep it under wraps for another week. I expect 50-7 against TSU, but with all factors included, all the anxiety, all the anticipation of the season, I'm gonna just leave it at 38-7. That's a very good win for the Irish in Ireland, and everybody get their chance to get out there, and then we close the game with an Angeli or a Kenny Minchie.
I got Notre Dame 34-10.
Okay, 34-10.
34-10.
Yeah, Navy gonna get their points off. I think they're gonna get 7 early. Lock in. Maybe get I just think the defense we got too much depth at defense to give up a late touchdown.
Yeah, I just think Notre Dame's just the overall better team, man. Just go
Yeah,
out there. Just go play. Just
Just
be
go
who
play.
you are. Be the better team. Everybody's talking about running clock and all that. None of that matters. None of that matters.
None of that matters.
None of that matters, man. Just
No.
be the better team, make plays, and you can put up points.
You don't have to let that Navy offense be on the field long. You don't have to.
No.
Get them 3 and out. All of the day.
Yeah. Lucky Lefty podcast. All right. As we get ready to get out of here, man, once again, 2:30 Eastern Time, Notre Dame and Navy at Aviva Stadium over in Ireland.
That's right.
94th meeting. I said 96 earlier. How's this season play out for you, Left?
How's it gonna play out for me?
Yeah, we gotta talk about the record.
The record, I got us 11-1 getting into the playoffs, 11-1. I'm just gonna leave one of the big 3 games up for grab. Anything can happen. Football's crazy, but I definitely think we'll win 2 of the 3 big games this year and prove to be an 11-1 playoff team looking to go into the playoffs this year. So championship, it just depends if Georgia can get to the playoffs, Alabama gets to the playoffs, but we're playing a playoff schedule. We got 3 of the top 10 games, top 5 games this year, in my opinion, in the country.
Do you think which of the big 3 would you prefer to lose? If you had to lose one of the big 3 games,
only because they have a better quarterback. SC only because they have a better quarterback. The other 2, we should win because we have the better quarterback.
Okay.
So I would upset us losing with us upgrading our quarterback to be better than their quarterback, and we lose the game. I know we don't have a better quarterback than USC, but We can still win. It's just I wouldn't be as disappointed because I'm like, they got the Heisman generational first round, all that. Hard to beat. And they rolling right now, hard to beat.
Yeah.
But if we can pull that off, I think we'll win a championship. Sure. For sure.
Yeah, I can see that. I think beating Clemson and Ohio State is more important. Number one, because then hopefully Clemson loses another game in conference.
Right.
Right. If you lose to Clemson late in the season and they win the ACC, you might be battling. It might hurt you in the playoffs.
Oh, for sure.
It might hurt you. If you beat
It's
Clemson,
no different than Cincinnati and how when they beat us, they just locked in. It was just a locked in spot. Nothing you can do.
Yeah. Like if you lose to USC, I don't think it hurts you as much.
No.
From a playoff standpoint.
Because hell, they gotta win the Pac-12. The Pac-12 gonna be crazy.
Right.
They gotta still gotta think about that. Hell.
Yeah.
And they're coming off of playing Arizona, who's going to be solid. It's supposedly this year. So they play Arizona before they play us. And Arizona, I mean, the Pac-12 in general is going to be exciting to watch. That's what I want to watch this year.
Yeah. And that's a late L, too, later in the season.
The late L's don't have, I feel like the Cincinnati L affected us 3 years ago, and that was early on. So I think it's not the timing of the L. I think that
I don't think the Cincinnati, look, Notre Dame didn't play well even after they lost to Cincinnati. They just didn't. Too many close calls. Yeah.
USC gonna
have to beat Ohio State. Say it again.
The Ohio State game is unexcusable. We should win that game. I'm circling out on the calendar. It's damn near the most important game to me this year, just because of how they hold Ohio State and what they have going on. I feel like we have the advantage at the quarterback position and home field. I think Ryan Day isn't as good as Marcus Freeman, and we got to win that game. I mean, it's just one of those things. I think it changes the narrative of Notre Dame's program, beating Ohio State as opposed to beating the Clemson or beating the USC. Beating Ohio State is a program changer from the perception of what the college football world views about Notre Dame. That's why it's the most important game to win this year.
Yeah, Andrew Gilmore makes a good point. Well, look, Virginia Tech played Ohio State that year, the very first game of the year. You can lose it. Miami, I think, in one of their championship runs, lost to Washington the very first game. Like if you can look, and then they came back and I think beat the number 1 team in Florida State, the number 2 team in Virginia Tech. Like losing the first game of the year doesn't hurt. And it was JT Barrett's first game as a true freshman. So you have to look at how it happened. Like they literally lost this to Braxton Miller like the week before the game in fall camp. So that's a whole lot to look at. And I'm sure the committee looked at all of that. Ultimately,
the committee's out for entertainment and business. I can't wait for the playoff factors where they can take a step back and let the real teams fall into the bracket and then go from there,
Yeah.
Because right now, I mean, they got Michigan going back. Come on, man. Come on. Michigan, really? A team that can't throw? Really?
Hey. Are they not the best team in the Big Ten?
No. No, they're not.
They smacked Ohio State 2 years in a row. I'm saying so. At this point,
fight. That's a style fight.
You're right. You're right.
Not a better team. It's a style fight.
And for me, I'm looking at Ryan Day like Errol Spence. Like, I don't think you want that, dog.
Great analogy. He's Errol Spence for sure. For sure.
Ohio State might be looking. They might be looking for that rematch, but they might not want that.
That's right. We need to be Bud Crawford, and because Earl Spence is definitely Ohio State embodied. got all the hype, deservedly so. You know, you guys are, welterweight champs, all that.
Hey,
But listen,
man.
hey, Styles, you go into that fight against a dude that know how to fight. We know how to fight this year. We got a quarterback. We know how. Are we gonna do it? That's the anticipation part. We know how to fight though. We'll go in there and we're not gonna let you overwhelm us like Earl Spence does. Earl Spence go in there, overwhelm dude. Now we catching Ohio State at 147.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We catching them at 147. Oh, we might get him.
So I mean, I understand the buzz behind Michigan because of what they've been able to do to Ohio State back-to-back years. I understand it. I just do. What I don't understand is will Clemson even be a championship contender when the Notre Dame game comes up?
No, I think Clemson still has to answer their quarterback question.
They still have to play Florida State. Clemson has some tough games, bro. You got North Carolina. We'll see. They got South Carolina, and they lost to South Carolina last year at home. So Clemson's going to have to prove some things to me. Defensively, they're going to be tough. But offensively, I don't know.
Definitely don't know. I don't know. Thank you.
So you got them 11-1. Ugh. See, I'm going back and forth between 10-2 and 11-1. I'm going back and forth. And for me, the defense is the key.
Yes.
Defense is the key. Notre Dame has averaged 34 to 36 points annually. Can they step it up and get closer? Can they get closer to 40? Hopefully they can. But the defense is the key. I expect the identity to be that this front seven will pressure the quarterback.
100%.
Will pressure the quarterback. And if they do that, I can see 11-1. Lucky Lefty podcast. So enjoy the game. We both have Notre Dame covering the spread. Notre Dame going 11-1. And get with us for the post-game show. It should be fun. We should have a lot to talk about. So for Left, I'm Shaun Davis. Hey, it's game day. I look forward to watching Sam Hartman spin it a little different, man. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you after the game.